My name is Bob King. I'm the president of the Council on Postsecondary Education here in Kentucky. I will be, for all intents and purposes, a certain master of ceremonies tonight. First and foremost, we are just thrilled to have all of you here with us. I was operating under the belief that there were 16 or 17 states who had representatives here, and I was apprised just a few minutes ago that I was wrong about that. There's 22. And so for our Kentucky friends who are here, and for all of you, here's who's here. Folks from California, the District of Columbia, Florida, Hawaii, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oregon, South Dakota, Tennessee, Washington, Wisconsin, and Texas. Welcome to Kentucky. I should correct that. Welcome to Kentucky, the home of the #1 rated Kentucky Wildcats. And I think the number 7 or 8 or 9 rated Murray State Racers. And the number 19 rated Louisville Cardinals. But we don't pay much attention to basketball here. I also want to convey to you great thanks to two of our sponsors that have helped us with all of this. The Brown Foreman Company, which is located here in Louisville and helped present our reception earlier tonight, and the Hunt Institute from North Carolina, whose senior executive is going to be up here in just a minute to welcome you. But I also wanted to thank for their sponsorship and support colleagues of mine from the Council of Chief State School Officers, and I don't think Gene Wilhoit is here, but is there somebody from CCSSO? Thank you very much, and please give Gene our best. I know he's recovering from some health issues. My dear friend Paul Lingenfelter and folks from his shop from the State Higher Education Executive Officers Association, and my former colleague and dear friend Muriel Howard, who heads up the American Association of State Colleges and Universities. I also want to introduce to you some people who are very important in my life because they are my bosses. The chairman of our board, Pam Miller, the vice chairman, Dan Flanagan, and one of our board members, Donna Moore. Stand up just for a quick moment and say hello. Where's Dan? He's around here somewhere. And two other colleagues, the secretary of the Education and Workforce Cabinet here in Kentucky, Joe Meyer, who's been a great friend and supporter of all of our work. And one of the great campus presidents who I get to work with, Doug Whitlock. Now, I have one housekeeping thing I was told I need to do, and that is to communicate to you that the formal conference ends tomorrow night. But there are a number of you who are on something called a state team. You know who you are. And if you are on that team, you will continue into Wednesday morning for some of those meetings that are on a schedule that I trust you have. Now, I think I'm satisfying now my responsibilities in terms of housekeeping. What I want to do is introduce to you Mike Gilligan from the Hunt Institute. He is the Director of Strategic Initiatives, and he is here subbing for Governor Hunt, who I understand is out of the country, but a great supporter of all this work. Mike, come on up.
Well, no doubt our Tar Heels will see you in the tournament. Thanks, Dr. King. You've stolen my remarks as well. Governor Hunt is out of the country. He sends his regrets that he couldn't be here with you this evening. But he is proud that we are joined with you in this great enterprise. And I just wanted to share a thought I was having today. Last week, the Brown Center released a report on education. And in it, the author, Tom Lovelace, brings up a point around his research, which is that he sees no correlation between high standards and high student achievement. And he then therefore supposes that the Common Core State Standards Initiative will have little to no effect on student achievement. Thank you for the prompt. I think his supposition is faulty. And I think that we can just point to the people in this room for why that's a faulty supposition. If the Common Core State Standards Initiative were just about high standards, maybe he'd have a point. And make no mistake, these standards are clear and consistent and will prepare our students academically for college and for the rigors of the 21st century workforce. But it's about a lot more than just high standards. It's about the collaboration that you all have started today and that you'll carry forth in the days ahead. And I think that's the real power behind this initiative. It's almost like a reset for education. And we thank our friends in Kentucky because you've led the way. And we've been there with you since the start of this, since you passed SB 1, since Terry joined the department and carried on the work here, and since Dr. King came down and joined in this initiative. So the collaboration that Kentucky is leading, we hope that states, and now I know that there are 22 of you in the room, that we hope you will carry it out throughout the nation. So thank you to our friends in Kentucky. Thank you to our friends at CCSSO. We love to work with you. Thank you to our friends at SHIO. We've had a great collaboration over the past year. And thank you to our new friends at ASCU as well.
In advance of our fireside chat, or whatever we're calling the presentation that you're going to hear in just a few minutes, we thought that this event would provide to us here in Kentucky an opportunity to honor and recognize 4 men, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, who in this era of incredibly polarized politics found a way to find common ground and pass something called Senate Bill 1. We will talk more about that in a minute, but it really was a seminal piece of legislation here in Kentucky that in advance of the announcement by CCSSO and the National Governors Association to pursue this national effort to adopt a set of Common Core standards, created legislation that directed my office that oversees higher education, the State Department of Education, and the office that oversees our teacher licensing and certification, the Professional Standards Board, to work together to adopt new standards that were clearer, deeper, fewer, internationally benchmarked, and be able to assess their impact on student learning, both at the formative level and at the summative level. The 4 men who were most responsible for this are Senator Ken Winters. Senator, please come up. Former Senator and now Judge of the Circuit Court, Dan Kelly. Your Honor, come on up. State Representative and Chairman of the House Committee on Education, Carl Rollins. Carl, come on up. And our fourth member, who unfortunately couldn't be with us, he just had a hip replacement and is just not quite ready to travel yet, a now retired state representative, Harry Mobberly, but representing Harry, one of his former colleagues and now my colleague, Aaron Thompson. Now, I know that you guys get all sorts of recognition and lots of plaques, and you're going to get one more. Okay. But in presenting this to you, and I'll read it to you, it has your name each. It says, in recognition of the leadership, vision, and forethought that led to the passage of Senate Bill 1 in 2009, changing the lives of Kentucky's children, brightening the future of the Commonwealth, dated today from the Council on Postsecondary Education. What you have done and what you were able to accomplish with that legislation, I honestly believe will have a more lasting impact on the future of this state than probably most other pieces of legislation that have been passed, certainly in the last decade. And on behalf of all these kids and our campus leaders and folks in the K-12 system, we just wanted to take this moment to say thank you. And so, Carl, where's Carl? For you. Dan, for you, and Ken, for you, and that's Harry. Now, Senator Winters and Representative Rollins are going to stay here, but you have to be in the right seat and participate. This is for the microphones. And participate in a panel we're about to do, but I asked Dan if he would take a few minutes and maybe just share a couple of thoughts about what led to the passage and development of this great legislation. Dan?